This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's going to fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people, flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Never miss 1 second of Charger baseball with the Charger Zone.
And he is just absolutely parked wide. I don't believe the left fielder or the center fielder for AUM even moved.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Out here at Woody Anderson Ford, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. We've got 2 hours, a 2-hour talk show that we're going to try to fill in over the next hour and 59 minutes. Although We've got Jerry Glanville coming up here in a mere matter of moments, but right out of the gate, Bobby White, kind enough to hop on a headset. It's great to see you, Bobby.
Hey, great to see you guys. Welcome.
Well, it's always fun to be out here in the showroom, the ever-populated showroom. And by the way, if you're on WZZN TV, I set up our camera on the Model A. So tell me the story behind that vehicle that's being shown right now.
Which the gold?
He's talking about the truck.
That's a T.
Okay.
That's the original car for the masses. That right there is a 1917 Model T, and in 1917 it was a Huntsville City school bus.
That's what's so cool.
If you read the little sign, it was a Huntsville. Could you imagine your kids riding in that? I guess if it was raining, it would just
you just got wet.
You just got wet. Yeah. I guess if not, you were walking.
Well, now at school, if it rains, they just call off school. So
right.
They won't get wet these times. You know, Bobby, my dad's and his father and his brother, when my dad was 8, it's 1948, rode a Model T Ford from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to wherever they Dallas Cowboys practice out there, in California.
Wow.
What is it? Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were known that the T started it, but then the Model A came afterwards, which I know sounds backward alphabetically, but there's a story behind that. But the T was the first car sold to the masses by Henry Ford, and they were known to be so dependable, and so was the Model A and dependability. So just a quick story. A lot of people don't know this, but Henry Ford started the first commercial airlines that flew people for pay.
I didn't know that.
It's been sold many times over, and it's now American Airlines.
Huh.
But Henry Ford flew the first paid passenger, and it was a Ford tri-motor. Google it. It had one on the nose and one on each wing. And the motto was, Fords are so dependable, everybody relied on them back in those days, that it said, this plane will fly on only one of these 3 engines. What are the odds of 3 Ford engines failing? And people bought into it, and the commercial airlines was born.
Well, I know it's got good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And if you in Model
really
A's
cool.
especially, I don't have a lot of experience with the T's, but my dad restores Model A's just on the side, out of passion. And if you've ever driven one or ran one, they're hard to stop. I mean, they run forever. I mean, they're so basic. It's just fuel, fire, and compression, and they run.
So, Bobby, your grandmother.
Yes.
It's hard to believe. His grandmother had a special day not long ago, and I just have to talk about it.
Yeah, last Saturday or Saturday before last, she was 100 years old.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
I tell people in December I went to my dad's 80th birthday, and his mother was there. They just look at me funny. Hey, what I was telling
that's good genes right there.
I was telling the employees I was going to my grandmother's birthday, and they all know how old I am. They go, "You're what?"
Yeah. That is so cool, though.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome.
Well,
that
cool.
is fantastic. Tell us what's going on here at Woody Anderson Ford.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have heard the spots, but our spot's called "From America for America" right now because our cars come from America. No one assembles more vehicles in America than Ford. No one employs more Americans in the auto industry than Ford. So right now, Ford, to honor that, and in lieu of the tariffs, obviously, because they're American products, Ford is offering employee pricing to everybody. So that goes through the end of next month. And it's only the second time in history I've ever seen it. And they only ran it for a few weeks the time before, and that was in like the 08, 09 downturn, the recession there.
I remember.
Yeah, they did it then. But I get friends now come, hey, I'm going to come down there and look at a car. I'm like, well, I'd love to tell you I could make you a better deal than anybody else. But right now, everybody can buy them for less than we own them for. Ford actually has to give us a percentage back because they literally are selling right now for less than I bought them from Ford.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a deal. I mean, I can prove it to you. There's no gimmick. It's legit. Yeah.
And if you want to check them out, certainly on the lot here and as well as in Madison. But I mean, but I'm always a big proponent of the service department as well that you got right here.
Right.
Well.
Right. Yeah, and we're set to open. We hadn't set the date yet, but we're finishing up the details on this. I'm sure you guys have seen it's a 40,000 square foot commercial truck center up here. It's called a Ford Pro Elite Commercial Truck Center. mostly focusing on companies and corporations and their fleets of trucks. So it's a really special deal. We've got a bunch of really good techs that are here that we've lined up for that job, and we're going to be able to take care of. So all your plumbers, heating and cooling, I mean, you name it, electricians, whatever kind of business.
You have a fleet of trucks.
Exactly.
This is the place to get them.
That's it.
Taken care of.
Yeah, it's a Ford Pro Elite Commercial Truck Center, and we have a special lane right here in these service drives. There's signage right out there where they pull in, and there's certain service advisors that ride up the commercial vehicles, and so yeah, we do them all, and they also take care of. It doesn't have to be a super truck, you know. If you have a fleet of vehicles, if one's an Escape or whatever, the Ford Pro Elite team takes care of them.
And you guys can actually go out to other vehicles as well.
We do, yes. We currently have 10 mobile service Ford Pro mobile service vehicles that service anything. I mean, we even do we do Hertz out at the airport, and you know they have Chrysler or Chevy. It really doesn't matter for mobile service. We do it all. I mean, we do it all here, obviously too, but more so in mobile service. So yeah, the mix of competitive make vehicles is probably 40% that we're doing out.
So what all can you do with the mobile service?
Well, all your basic service, you know, oil change, tire rotation. We do the multi-point inspection, measure the brakes, tire tread depth, all the, you know, belts, hoses, anything like that, wiper blades, even brake jobs. We schedule those if we find it needs brakes, and we have a certain crew we'll send back out there to put the brakes on, but we can do it right there in the driveway or at your work or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Who'd
ever dreamed that?
So
that's cool.
I bet we have a gearhead on the line right now. I know he'd like to probably talk to you right now as well.
Well, here's the kicker though.
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking, okay, you're coming out there. What's the cost? It's the same as if you drove it down here and sat in the waiting room.
Wow.
It is. It's an initiative by Ford. So not telling you straight up, Ford, in order to differentiate Ford dealers from other dealers, they actually incentivize us on the back end to go do it out there. So it's that's everybody's like, well, what's the catch? You can't come out here and do it.
Right.
Oil
the
change
same price.
Yeah, actually cheaper than a Jiffy Lube does it. While you sit down there for 2 hours, we come and do it while you're at work, and you don't have to go anywhere. So it feels like it too good to be true, but no, Ford's doing it to make sure that it makes us different than other manufacturers.
Smart.
Hey, Bobby, this is Brian Temple back at the station. First of all,
hey, Brian.
As a former fleet manager, I
Yes,
love
sir.
you guys' service department.
Oh,
Top
thanks.
notch from, Tim White and all the other guys out there. Just fantastic. And I was bringing everything from E350 vans all the way down to little Ford Escapes and everything. And you guys did fleet for us. It's way too good.
Yeah. We like Tim. He did no relation, Tim White, no relation to me.
Oh,
but
and
he's
he said that too.
He's a good employee.
Yeah.
And we're
No.
he's actually the manager of our new Ford Pro Elite Center.
And the thing is, those guys out there, you may think you're a manager. He was turning wrenches before he got that job. He's like a cook at Waffle House.
He was.
He's on
Yeah.
every job. Second of
Yes,
all, are
sir.
y'all aware of the Ford TT over at Wilson Lumber? Basically, the big brother of that Model T there.
Yeah, that is a TT actually. The
Okay.
second T just means truck.
Okay, well they did a fine job of the restoration too. I just want to make sure I can make a love connection with you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
gotta
a beautiful thing in there.
I've got to go over and look at it.
Yeah, you should. It's right there in their Meridian Street showroom up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, now to make the transition, hey, Coach Glanville, did you make it on the air?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Well, I was trying to play your I got to play your theme song here.
Okay. Yeah. The Fall Guys, Coach Glanville's theme song. How you doing, Coach?
Well, I got my whole lowdown on
Are you
how
still
to get
there,
my
Coach?
Ford truck fixed.
Coach Glanville.
Hello? Can
Hey,
you hear me?
Coach? Yes, sir. Loud and
It
clear.
helps if I push the right buttons.
Are we at the Ford dealer?
Yes, sir. We are. You're
this
on with
where-
Bobby White as well.
Is this where Wes got the cop
The
car?
police car.
It absolutely is.
It is.
Yeah.
This is where you got the police car.
100%.
Yeah. Hey,
Let's,
Coach, this
let's
is
go
Bobby.
out and look
Tell
at
me
the
all
lot.
about the
If you
crown.
see, you
Yeah.
see another one, we better grab it.
Yeah. Hey, them old Crown Vics, I still have a lot of officers that have been around for a long time say they missed that thing. It was an awesome car.
Especially if you can find one with those Interceptor engine in it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach, did Wes have the little spotlight in the A pillar, where you could turn and spotlight?
Well, it's most of the time when he was driving the car, he was sleeping. So a few bumpers and fenders got knocked off that thing along the way.
It's a test of how tough
By
they
the
are.
way, I got to tell Wes, I thought about you. This last draft that we lived, this will give you an example. We had 30 defensive tackles drafted, 5 in the first round. For the entire draft, we had 3 centers. I said, if Wes was coming out this year, he'd be a top pick.
He'd be the number 1 center in the draft.
3 centers, Wes, for the whole draft, all on the last day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Coach, before we get neck deep into the draft, I did want to ask at least one automotive question for you. Excuse me. What turned you into a gearhead? Was it how early did you just dive into racing cars and enjoying that kind of life?
My grandfather raced cars. My brother built cars, and I drove them with his license. Driver's license did not have a picture. So I won the local track championship with my brother's driver's license. He was 2 years older than me. I was 15. I got hired by Studebaker to drive the Golden Hawk, and I'd won 2 races. And they said, "Be sure you bring your license up to Michigan. You got to have a." I goes, "I don't have a license." And Studebaker said, "You didn't tell us." I said, "You didn't
Our
ask."
owner's husband coach has a Silver Hawk, and that's one of the smoothest driving cars ever. I think it's a 59, and that thing just it rides on clouds. I was amazed at how well that car drives.
Well, in '57, they bought the Supercharge company, Paxton. And so the only place you could get a Paxton Supercharger in '57 was on the Studebaker. Well, Ford wanted to put one on. They wanted to have a Ford with they got a special initial that they got a supercharger on them, but very, very few made. And everybody wondered why the Golden Hawk was killing everybody's butt. Well, they had a supercharger on every one of them. And the supercharger is worth about 175, 200 horse. So kind of changed everything.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Coach, actually, Bobby, Coach got his first job because he could teach driver's ed.
That's right. That's right.
His first football job.
Yeah, that's good.
I'd probably be still working at the Chevrolet transmission plant if they didn't need a driver ed teacher.
Yeah. Well, my driver's ed teacher was a football coach too.
I was working at the Chevrolet transmission plant, and they would fire me every 57 days. And I'd go out the back door. Now the building was about 2.5 blocks long, and I'd walk all the way around the building, come all the way in the front, and come in the front door and apply for a job, and they'd hire you. Because if you worked 60 days, you were in the union. So the 57th day, they said, "You're out of here." I said, "What if I go around the plant? We'll be hiring you in about an hour."
That's crazy.
Little different those days.
A little bit. Bobby, we always love coming here. And honestly, if you want to stick around and ask Coach questions, you're more than happy to.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit.
Coach, let's dive into the draft. I'm sure, I've been shadured to death more than anything, but where do you want to start with the NFL draft, Coach?
I thought it was interesting. Everybody knew the first pick, but I did the draft. Did I show you the pictures at the Hall of Fame?
No, sir.
I do the draft at Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio with You probably remember Lynn Swan and.
Oh yeah, you sent me a picture, Coach. I saw.
Did I send you a
Yeah.
picture? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
like to send Steve pictures because he never responds. But we're going to get him pumped up. I looked at Ward and I said, of course, I don't miss many. I miss more this year than usual. And I say, so what about Ward? What about Ward? First guy off the board. And I said, and if you look at the 4 out of the 5 quarterbacks last year taken in the first round, Ward would probably be the 5th best quarterback. So you have to, when you get to a draft, there's value. And even though you're the number 1 guy, last year he'd have been 5th quarterback. And people don't realize, you look at the scores and the value. And then I was asked about Hunter. Where are you going to play him, offense and defense? And I looked at him. I broke him down. He can catch a 7-yard slant and go 74 yards. He can take a 10-yard out and turn it into 80. But you can't score that often on defense. I myself would put him on offense, make him learn all the offense, and then trickle him over there to the defense. But a short, tight pass with him can go the distance. He ran a 4.2. Only guy that was close to that when I was in football was Wes, but that was in the 10-yard.
In the 10-yard. That's good, Coach.
He's been working on it all week.
and you guys will love this. I had one tight end was maybe better than Ditka. And I told everybody this is the best tight end come out of football since the 60s. The Warren, the kid out of Penn State. Well, somebody takes the tight end from Michigan above him. And I know enough what I'm looking on film, so I don't know what everybody else is looking at. So I said, the Michigan tight end played slot wide receiver in every film I had. I never had him next to the tackle. So I think the tight end position, you have to redefine. It may be a physical condition rather than a position.
He's been working on that one too.
Yeah. So hey, Coach,
this is a lot of great material.
I got a question. So last 2 picks, Kansas City, Philadelphia.
This is the first round.
The first round, and Kansas City. Philadelphia trades up 1 place, gives a 5th round draft pick to
Kansas City.
Plus their next pick. Obviously they trade picks and plus a 5th. How did they know that they were going to? Did they suspect they were going to take Campbell, or when you discuss that, do they? How does that work there during the draft?
Kansas City knows who they're going to pick. So Kansas City won't make the trade until the other team tells them who they're going to pick. Let's say the Eagles were going to take the guy they were going to take, then there'd be no trade. That's all on a phone before it happens. But that's not the shocker. You're getting better, but you're still not ready for the first team. What's the shocker? The New York Giants trade up to get Dart, quarterback from Ole Miss. I promise you, Wes, you and I would have gotten the 3rd round if we never made a trade. That
I
was
agree
probably
with that. I was shocked about that as well.
I
25 pick, yeah.
And the great kid, I like this, got a good mom and daddy. We love them all. But every deep ball is a wind up in a sling. It's like putting the shot. Well, in pro football, you don't get those opportunities to 2-step shuffle and sling it. Where you've been, Wes, you got a broken nose. And so that one really surprised me. And then the tight end from Penn State slid down to 14th. So I talked to people, why can he slide down to 14th? This tells you about the interviews. I can give you a whole 2-hour show on interviews with each team talking to a player. Well, the team that was going to take him 5th, the tight end from Penn State, Warren, they said, how long has it been since you've been in a fist fight? And Warren looked at me and he said, I don't guess I've ever been in a fist fight. He dropped all the way down to 14th because he never been in a fist fight. It reminded me of Robert Lyles. You played with Robert Lyles.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked Robert Lyles, how long since you've been in a fist fight? And he said, for real? I said, yes, for real. I took him. I loved him.
You broke out right there. When was the last time?
He was in a fist
fight.
About
4 hours ago. Then I looked at here's what's got to change. I looked at the Texas quarterback. And I don't know if you looked at him in the last picks.
7th round
pick.
The kid is height. They cut his heart out and they set it on the trolley. Here's my proposal to the fabulous National Football League. If I'm a player and it gets to a round, he could go make $5 million next year playing for a college. He is now the last guy this team took or cares about. He should be able to say, whatever round it is, I'm out. Take me out of the draft. I'm going back to college. To have somebody told this kid he was going to be a high pick, or he's playing next year somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think they have to fix that because it just like take Dion's. She's talking about him probably 110 Dion's kid.
What about Dion's kid, Coach? Yeah, you're starting to break up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
We hear you now, Coach.
I was talking about if they don't pick you where you want to go, you should be able to opt out and go back to college.
Yeah, yeah.
That leaves this kid from Texas. Dion's kid would have opted out. There's a lot of kids would have said, if I'm falling this far, I'll wait till next year. Look at Ward. Ward was the first guy picked. Do you know last year they told him he wouldn't be drafted? Well, they didn't tell all the kids that they miss on something, and it changes a kid's life. So I think I'll start a new campaign as a player. Like you take Wes. I got Wes in the 2nd round. When it gets down to the fifth round, we should say, hold everything. I'm going to go back to college. But then they'll say, Wes, you ain't passed anything in college. You can't play there no more.
Look, ultimately, what was your grade or maybe your thought on Jalen Milroe ending up with the Seahawks, Coach?
Okay, he went before Dion's kid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I say something without hurting you, Alabama fans?
Absolutely. We want to know the truth.
Did anybody in Seattle watch the Oklahoma game?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's cruel, but that's on. If I watch the Oklahoma game, how would I take him over Dion's kid? How would that happen? Here's what's happened in the pro draft. And Wes is going to laugh because he knows it's true. It's paralysis by overanalysis.
Yep.
You loved it when I coached college. The pros can come and talk. Wes is playing for me at Alabama. They can come work out Wes and talk to him twice. They cannot talk to him 3, 4, 5 times because the people that are coming the 3rd, 4th, 5th time, they're wanting you to come home and tell the club why you don't take them. They're not wanting to know what's great about what's the flaw that we don't know. And that's why I had a club call up. We did tackle coach, but you got to tell us about the tackle. And it was a guy I coached. I coached him as a linebacker, and I was in personnel. He said, we didn't like his interview. And I said, what didn't you like, Larry? He said, he wasn't conversational. And I said, Larry, you were MVP in the league playing for me, and you and I talked twice. Are you looking for a conversation? Or are you looking for somebody to knock down the offense?
It's there's I totally I agree. Coach, I think that going to be interesting to see where Shador ends up. They're going to they have five quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah.
Well,
He'll be traded. Go back to Houston Oilers. You were there. Chris Everett, I think his name was, or Jim Everett, quarterback.
Yeah, Jim Everett. Yeah.
Jim Everett has this value, this worth. Could not trade the pick. Nobody would take him. We just signed Warren Moon for what was a lot of money then, not anymore. But Warren Moon was just signed, and why'd we draft him? We traded him before the season because the value of the pick. We traded him to the Rams, and you'll love this. He went to the Rams. I'm so glad they traded me. I want to go where I can get good coaching. And I came back and says, I watched him. He needs good coaching. And we beat him face to face every single time. I love that stuff.
So, where was your value for Shador, Coach? Where do you think he should have gone?
I think he was probably, if you're honest, without the personal interviews, and I'm not in a personal interview. If I'm grading a film, if he's in the Detroit Lion offense, if he's with the 49er offense, if he's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles offense, it has to be a fit. He's as good as anybody could play in those type offenses. He can. Here's what shocks me. He never had protection. Hell, his dad's the head coach. If my son was playing and getting knocked around, I'd go get me all the offensive linemen I could get. He's proven that he can get away. He's proven that he can half roll. Well, right now, golf, everybody loves golf. Golf is no better than him. I promise you. Write it down. Scribble it on concrete before it dries. That's fact. Now, golf is probably a great person. His daddy was a semi-pro baseball catcher, so you got to love him for that. I don't know what Sanders said in the interviews, but he had one big flaw nobody's talking about. And nobody but your radio show will cover this. He's got a flaw that I don't know if you can overcome. And what was the flaw? He didn't have an agent.
That's right.
And nobody talks about that. Let me tell you, the agents are on the phone during the draft as much as your mother would be trying to get you out of jail. And I've been in a draft where they said, Jerry, you got to take this guy. Why do I have to take him? Because the three guys on your team that have the same agent, we can't sign those. We got to get them on a new contract. Well, if you have no agent, and here's the guy at the draft saying, well, we draft him, we got to deal with his dad. Nobody's saying that. And I don't know that's why. Because I wasn't in the personal interview. Those interviews, there's been a lot of good football players that can't interview. There's been a lot of people. Here's what I say. Believe your eyes. You got eyes? Go back to the guy I'm talking to about defensive tackle. I said, can he shed a block? Best shedder we've ever seen, Coach. Okay. Does he run, chase, and make the tackle? Yes, he's a great effort guy. Then what the hell do you care if he wants to talk to you or not?
So who was the best quarterback, in your opinion, in the draft? This draft. If Jerry Glanville was the head coach of a team,
let's say the Titans,
and needed a quarterback, who
the first overall pick?
Well, no, you don't need a first overall pick. Just who are you going to take?
I probably would have taken Sanders for what I see on film. I have the damnedest same. Remember Pepper Rogers, Coach Pepper Rogers?
Of course, yeah.
Well, he ended up coaching with me. I ended up coaching with him. And he said, you got something no other coach has ever had. He said, it's hard to talk to you. And I said, I don't know if I had a disease. I never had bad breath or what. And I said, well, what's that? He goes, you only believe what you see. Well, isn't that something? I like to play the best guys. And if you play the best guys, you're a better coach. And I don't get involved. They got this they got a TV show on television with about 4 women sitting around called The View. I'm not interested in drama or The View. Don't tell me the drama. Does the run, chase, and hit? Yeah. Can the quarterback get away and throw? Yes. Can back down the deep ball? Yes. Then I don't care about the drama.
Is Travis Hunter at all comparable to Deion Sanders back in the day, Coach?
I would say Travis is a better offensive player than Deion was. I played him on offense, as you know.
Yes, sir.
I played him both ways, but the problem I had with him when I was playing both ways, he was playing 3 ways because he was playing for the 2. Well, you can only limit what you can do. You can only run this, that, or the other. They both, of course, I was blessed. I've coached the best corners in football, so I got spoiled. I had a good guy at Detroit, as you guys remember, Lem Barney. I had Lem Barney and Deion Sanders. They had to build a statue of me. Why would you build a statue of me? Because I didn't have a damn thing to do how they played. They played good without me.
So, wouldn't you agree that Deion had more, I guess, more wiggle than
Travis
Hunter?
You're too smart. Wes, you're in the wrong business. Get your general manager's job at the freaking Raiders, and we'll go save him. Your Hunter is more stiff, is what you're saying, but you didn't use the word. But it's COD. Deion had COD, change of direction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you run the 40 in if you can't twist and turn. And you're getting so smart, I think they should take you off the radio. And Steve's been trying to do that for the last 3 years.
Ultimately, Coach.
Here's your latest.
Okay.
Alabama beat Georgia last year in football, did they not?
Yes.
Yes, sir, they did.
Did Alabama beat Texas last year, did they not?
No, they didn't play.
They didn't play.
Oh, dang. I had a plan there. I was going somewhere. You can beat Texas and you can beat Georgia. Then you've got players. Now, Alabama had 7 kids drafted. Now, I'll shock y'all. Ohio State had 14. I think they won the national championship.
Yes, sir, they did.
Yes, they did.
Michigan last year, I think, won the national championship. They had 13 drafted. But listen to Michigan. They had 13 drafted last year. This year, they had 7. So you got 20 NFL guys on the field. You've got to go win the national championship. You've got to go get it done. And how far off? Okay, Alabama had 7. I think in Alabama, 3 of them were at the last day. And
correct.
You're throwing darts, as you know. I mean, that's
right.
Don't get too damn excited by getting a dart on the last day. But who else had 7? Florida. Who else had 7? Ole Miss. Ole Miss maybe had 8. So why am I telling you all this? Ohio State proved you can go buy the national championship.
Well, yeah, because Judkins, there's no 100%. I've already said that, Coach. And I was hoping they'd lose last year, so they, because
of that very fact.
Because this very fact, yeah. But you look at Judkins; he's from Montgomery, played at Ole Miss, was at Ohio State. Now he's a Giant, or no, he's a Brown.
He's a Brown.
You look at all the players that I think on almost every team last year that Alabama played, there was an offensive lineman that used to play at Alabama or a corner.
Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Or the safety for Ohio State.
Yeah, the safety for Ohio State was from Alabama. The center from Ohio State, who went undrafted but won the Remington Award, but he's injured, so he won't be ready for the first for camp. So that's why he fell.
And unfortunately, this is what college football is. And I tell college coaches, don't gripe and complain about it. Either get your butt to work or get out of college football. You can't sit around and complain. I hate this. You got to go compete. You got to go get it done. And I'm not a Kiffin fan. I'm not an Ole Miss fan. And I've talked to him twice, and that's probably 2 times too many. But he put 8 guys in the draft, and he doesn't have NIL money like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. He doesn't have that cash. The cash is greatly limited compared to who he's playing, Florida, etc. So there's still a spot for coaching to overcome everything.
Well, Coach, this is why you're the best. I mean, is there any base that was not covered there from the NFL draft? Because you pretty well covered it right there, Coach.
Well, it's kind of funny. People don't see it like me. And when I do the draft, and I do it at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, the people go crazy. They say, how do you know this? I said, in 1974, we had 14 rounds. Are you 2 listening?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm a young kid coaching at Detroit. And the management and the owners take rounds 1 through 6. And Jerry Glanville has rounds 7 through 14 in 1974. Well, I stayed 3 years, and all of our players came from round 7 through 14. And people said, well, what are you doing, Jerry? I goes, I got this thing. It's like having the fever. I either need more cowbell. I believe what I see. Yeah. I had a guy, you're going to die. You're going to die, Wes. I'm at Atlanta, and the general manager comes in February. Remember Goldberg played at Georgia?
Yeah, that's right.
And he comes in, he goes, this nose tackle that you didn't like, Coach, he's really climbing up the ladder the last 2 months. He's a whole lot better than he was when you saw him in December. And I said, stop right there. Where has he been playing the last 2 months? Show me where he's a better player. Oh, he hasn't been playing. What do you do? Jump real high in underwear? I don't care.
It is all about the tape, though.
So
it's about what you've done.
I just took a look at the 1974 Detroit Lions NFL draft. The first pick in the 7th round, that's a Jerry Glanville pick. A kicker. You went kicker in the 7th round.
Efren Herrera.
Correct.
It was a good kicker.
Efren Herrera. And I couldn't coach him. I speak English. And Efren Herrera did.
Oh, who else he picked?
Let's see here. T.C. Blair, a tight end from Tulsa. You got Fred Rothwell, a center from Kansas State.
He likes him centers, Wes.
I know
he does. He does.
I bet he was short.
I got to admit, 74, I was coaching there. I really started that, now that you brought up the draft, in 75. I got Horace King in 75 from Georgia, about the 9th round, and became all world. Go to 75. I got Hill, tight end from Texas A&I. He was all pro 7 years. Oh, baby, I was hot.
Leonard Thompson, a running back from Oklahoma State in the 8th round of the 75 draft.
Wow. Is that the year we got Hill? Is Hill in there, the tight end?
I don't see Hill, the tight end. You've got Brad Boyd, tight end from LSU in the 10th round of that draft. But I'll keep looking. I'll keep digging, Coach.
Well, if you go to the next.
Hill was a 2nd round pick in the 76 draft from Texas A&I.
Wow, what a memory. Sometimes I amaze myself. That's why, Larry, I never forget your name. Larry and Billy.
Coach, it's always great to get you in.
Coach, thank you.
You're the best.
We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, goodness. That is going to take us off to our first break. That's Jerry Glanville, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99 and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99 or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My next level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Well, now, Lord, Mr. Ford, I just wish that you could see what your simple heart is carrying. Your contribution to me. See, he's got it in out of hand. Well, Lord, Mr. Ford,
Goodness, it's been a minute since I've heard that Jerry Reed song. Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, and if you're subscribed to us on YouTube, you're checking out that Model T is on inside the showroom. I'm focusing on that rather than the Ramblin' Wreck that's right next to it. But then you've also got a T-Bird as well that we've shown in the past as well here. Sam Fleming's here with us from Fleming Roofing and Restoration. How are you, Sam?
Good. How you doing?
Doing real well. Boy, there's been a lot of rain here lately. I mean, a lot.
Yeah,
of
we're in
rain.
that time of year, especially storm season. You know, I think we've dodged some pretty bad weather, but yeah, it's we've had our fair share.
I went up on my. I mean, I was doing a little maintenance on my house just because I'm starting to notice from previous conversations that we've had. If I'm starting to see some stains up there, trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
You're not installing any more solar panel lights, are you?
No, I'm
All right,
not.
that's good.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, not anymore.
Turns out Steve's roof leak was self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. But I would imagine
It was an install mistake.
Yeah, it's like Clark Griswold up there with a staple gun.
Yeah.
Don't do this at home.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Just call the professionals. Just call the professionals. But I would imagine with all the rain that we've had here recently, that now is the time to inspect the house.
Yeah, we've been really busy. We've had a lot of calls. You know, we're a great call to make if you're not sure if you want to file an insurance claim. I mean, you know, it's your insurance policy. You can file it whenever you want. You know, it's your idea. But it's not a great idea to just file one unnecessarily. So if we can come out there first and tell you, hey, yeah, you're still good. You know, you might need a few maintenance items or something. Or, yeah, hey, definitely you need to file an insurance claim. We do a lot of those calls.
Well, I had a kid in a car stop and knock on the door. And then that's when I called you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
it blows my mind how many people will actually go with the door knocker. You know, I mean, a lot of roofing companies, they don't pay their guys any salary. They just send them out there and say good luck. And they knock on doors and say, hey, I noticed something on your roof, which I'll be honest, you know, unless, you know, half your house is blown off, it's kind of hard to tell if something's going on with your roof from the ground, you know. It just so happened everyone else in the neighborhood had something wrong too.
They really do that?
Oh yeah, that's the business model now. That is the main business model of roofing companies now, is to employ anyone and everyone and just ship them out there, and they tell everyone, hey, yeah, you've got hail damage, you need to file a claim, and it's a numbers game. So you get 10 people in a week to file an insurance claim. Maybe you get lucky and sell one. The other 9 people are probably angry at their insurance company. So that's a lot of our pitch to our insurance agents is, hey, I was an insurance adjuster for like over 10 years. Nobody ever got mad at the roofer. You know, it was always, I was called every name in the book. And I'm like, man, I couldn't be more honest with you about right now. I mean, and a lot of times the roofers be like, I totally agree. You know, it looks fine. But you get down there, and my roofer's telling me you're lying to me. And I'm like, man, come on. You know, there's just not much integrity left in the world. So we're trying to keep a little bit around.
Then you'll show up.
Yeah, we definitely show up. We want, you know, that's the least somebody can do, right? So we'll start there.
Well, Sam, hold tight for us. We need to take our final timeout this hour. I'd like to continue the conversation. Trevor Maddich is going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little.
Is that allowed to have Trevor Maddich on the same time you have Jerry Glanville?
I don't know.
Does Trevor Maddich know he's got to follow me?
No, but we're not going to tell him. He might not come on.
I'll text him.
Text him. He won't come on.
I will be right back. We're live here from Woody Anderson Ford.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Relatively warm as we head into the overnight and into the early part of your Wednesday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the low and mid 60s. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, but to be quite honest, that activity is going to be somewhat difficult to come by. Most of us are going to stay dry. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s, a couple of degrees above where we should be this time of year as we get ready to close out the month of April. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an fighting organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're 10 minutes away from Trevor Maddich joining us, talk a little college football as well as reaction to the draft and maybe some storylines. Boy, I did read up a little bit on what Brandon Marcello, he did his weekly column.
Right.
He is starting to pump up the Clemson Tigers in a big way.
Yeah.
Get ready here for the Clemson hype train.
He's not the only one.
No, he's not.
Klubnik's good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So to me, I don't know if the first game will tell a lot. With
LSU,
the first game.
It's a home game at least for Clemson.
It's a home game, but I'm just talking about the physicality. That will give me a measurement of how good they'll really be. I mean, they might probably favor to win the ACC, but who they play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Miami
and we would like LSU to lose right out of the gate just to look at T-Bob.
No, I'm really gonna have to pull for them, but if they do lose, it won't be awful. The night will be fun, right? I mean,
yes, it will.
It's bad. I really pull for LSU, as you know.
Yes, you do.
When they're not
yes,
playing
you do.
Alabama, even though my second favorite thing is to watch whiskey and wine when they lose. I mean, 100%.
So, by the way, he did not go through with that little event that he was trying to explain to us the night of the draft.
Goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
No, I watched it that night. Anyway,
yeah.
Sam Fleming's
Have
here
you
with
ever
us.
watched Whiskey and Wine?
No, I don't know what y'all are talking
After
about.
LSU gets beat
It's on
Go to
YouTube. It's
Google whiskey and wine, or
yeah.
YouTube search.
T-Bob?
Don't watch it. Don't watch it around the kids. Do not watch it around the
do
kids.
not watch it around the kids.
No,
no.
100%.
Yeah, there's another
Or-
guy out of Knoxville
or
as
anybody
well
that's
named Tony Basilio.
Okay.
But he's on the regular radio, right?
But it's streamed as well. And those are kind of my two go-tos. If Tennessee loses or LSU loses, Drew DeArmond and I are texting back and forth. Man, we got a T-Bob alert, or man, we got a Basilio alert.
Yeah, they're something else. I mean, so Basilio, whiskey and wine doesn't last that long because they get really drunk and then they go to bed. I mean, right? Basilio does not drink.
Basilio, well, he does drink occasionally,
but not during the show. Maybe at the end of the show. Yeah. But he'll stay on as long as there are callers.
Yeah.
Sometimes he stays up to 2:30, 3:30 in the morning.
No. There was one. I asked him what's the longest, and he said 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 Sunday morning.
So he'll do like a 12-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour show.
Just sitting in his basement.
I think people stay up later after a loss, right?
Oh, you can't go to sleep.
Yeah.
I watched Connor's team, the Raging Cajuns, 2 years ago, had a really good team with a really bad record, and they were just doing little things to get themselves beat. They're beating themselves. Like the running back at Alabama now came from them, and his first carry of the game 3 years ago, he went 80 yards for a touchdown. He didn't have another carry in the game. They had the ball on the 1 yard line 5 times and didn't score.
Sam, before we run out of time in this segment, how can folks get in contact with you?
Yeah, if they need us to come out and take a look at their house, they can give us a call at 256-651-9440 or online at FlemingHSV.com.
I got a little bit of a response via Twitter about the door knockers.
Yeah.
I am not alone in the door knockers.
It baffles me. I don't know, because a lot of people, I think they just overpromise. You know, if it's too good to be true, it's definitely
usually is.
Yeah, right. You know,
Probably a good rule of thumb: if a door knocker comes up to you and says, "Boy, you got this, you got that, you got this, you got that," call you guys.
I think they do a lot of free roof this, free roof that, upgrade this, upgrade that, and then they just string you out in a long battle with the insurance company to get them to pay for stuff they never owed for it to begin with. So
So if you do encounter that, the easiest way, if you're driving right now, FlemingHSV.com.
Right, yeah, just shoot us a message. And, we'll come out if somebody knocks on your door, says we got hail damage, and you feel a little confused. We'll come clear it up for you, one way or the other. So
there you go.
Appreciate you guys having me out.
Sam,
thank you so much for coming.
Always welcome.
I'll be back.
Hey, he'll show up.
Yeah, and he'll show up as well. Yeah, he did show up. That does it for hour number one. Trevor Maddich is set to join us after this Sports Center timeout. We're live here from Woody Anderson Ford. We'll be right back.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's a crucial Game 5. I'm Chris Smith. The Pacers have a perfect 8-0 series record in franchise history when leading 3-1, but just 2-6 in Game 5 with that 3 games to 1 lead. That trend looks to continue in Indy as the Bucks lead the Pacers 45-35, under 2 minutes remaining before the half. And according to ESPN Shams Charania, the Kings and interim coach Doug Christie are finalizing a multi-year contract to make him the franchise's next head coach. Sacramento went 27-24 this season under Christie, ranking 9th in offensive efficiency during that span and going 13-10 in clutch time games, according to ESPN research. On to the NFL, where the Niners tight end George Kittle signed a 4-year contract extension worth $76.4 million and includes $40 million in guaranteed money. And ESPN analyst Tim Hasselbeck says the deal is just important to his quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Having good players around you matters when you play this position. So, Kittle is one of those guys. He's good in the run game for the Niners. He's excellent in the passing game. He brings an attitude that I think is infectious to that football team. So there's a lot of reasons that you look at it and you say, yeah, look, it makes sense to keep and pay and reward guys like that that have meant what he's already meant to that organization.
Kittle is one of 5 tight ends in league history to have 4 or more 1,000-yard receiving seasons, alongside Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, and Jason Witten. Niners also agreed to a contract with a veteran offensive tackle, DJ Humphries, who was a Pro Bowler in 2021 and played 8 seasons with the Cardinals, all as a starter after being a first-round pick in 2015.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, my Lakers face an elimination game against the Wolves. I'll tell you why it's going to be a referendum on head coach J.J. Redick. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Walking you up to Braves baseball. Coverage starts in 1 hour's time as the Atlanta Braves continue their series against the Colorado Rockies. I mean, as much as I harp about being a Braves fan, the roller coaster ride, the Rockies are 4-24. 4-24. A.J. Smith-Shawver on the mound tonight for the Atlanta Braves. First pitch is set for 7:40 Central Time. The Rockies are 14 and a half games back of first place, and it's still April.
How are the Trash Pandas do?
I don't know the answer to that question, but you can hear Trash Panda Baseball over on Talk Radio.
3 steps onto the
infield
right grasses, leading away at first. Ismore 3 or 4 in the stolen base.
That's Josh Carey right there. I believe they're still taking on Birmingham this week.
They're in Knoxville this week.
Oh, they're in Knoxville.
Yeah,
see, I'm a week behind.
Game just had first pitch. 6 o'clock all the way through. Join us at 5:45 for the rest of the week through Saturday to hear Trash Pandas on 97.7.2, our HD channel.
Thank you very much, Brian Temple. Rocket City is 6-14 on the year. Knoxville is 10-10. So go Trash Pandas as that game just started. Let's start off a conversation here with Trevor Matich, who is kind enough to join us here, talk a little college football, a little NFL draft recap as well. Trevor, it's been a minute. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Steve. How are you doing?
Doing real well. Boy, there's a lot to get into, most notably around college football with the delayment of a certain settlement that we've all been kind of circled at earlier in the month, and it just feels like this is a big stall around college football, Trevor.
Yeah, and right now the whole situation with NIL, compensation for players, transfer portal, the calendar, how many times you can transfer, all the different things that are associated with that, and then the combination of the two, the portal with NIL and direct payments, is in an untenable position. I mean, it just can't continue the way it is. And until we know exactly what the situation is with the money, it's going to be hard to get everything fixed. And so right now they're waiting on certain decisions from the judge in the House case to on the settlement to figure out exactly how this might work. This is where they'll pay, once it goes into effect in the first year, about $20 million, a little bit more, to athletes, direct payments from the schools, which in the past has been impossible. It's come from third parties, from NIL. And now you've got a combination of the two. But right now, everything is just up in the air and wild, wild west beyond belief, with really no real rules or regulations. There are some rules, but nothing that can really hold, because every time the NCAA goes to court, they lose. And so right now, I think everybody's just sitting back and waiting what this settlement's going to bring. Plus, they're waiting for Congress. Right now, a lot of the hope rides on whether Congress will come together and make rules that are homogenous, that are equal over all 50 states, because different states have different rules relative to NIL right now in terms of who can get it and all those different things. And one state might have a huge advantage over the adjacent state just with the stroke of the pen of the legislature and the governor. So these are all things that make the whole current system untenable.
Trevor, when you look at this, as far as the judge out in California, who it seems like now, the way I read it is that she's worried about the walk-ons, and they're trying to come up with a plan to maybe
gradually implement the roster limitations.
Right, like a some kind of grandfather clause.
Yeah.
Is that what you're hearing or reading?
I think that's part of it. Part of the issue is that, right now you can only give 85 scholarships, but your roster size is pretty much as big as you want it to be. And my understanding of the situation is that they are saying you can give as many scholarships as you want, but you can only have 100 and some players on your roster. So what that would do is take walk-ons who are not good enough to get a scholarship, and you kick them off the team and they go to a smaller school if they want to play or even walk on there. Whereas you would have had them as a walk-on your team for a variety of reasons. And then the rest of it is that, if you limit the number of players you can have on your team, but you increase the scholarships, what about schools that don't have as much money as the SEC and the Big Ten? Are they going to be able to give 100 some scholarships out when right now they're struggling with 85? And so these are all things that they've got to figure out. The problem, well, there's lots of problems. One of them is that college football is not a homogenous group like the NFL. In the NFL, everybody is pretty much committed to. Hang on just one sec. Hey, but no. Hey, I have a dog here that's protecting me. Here. Come on. Yeah. So any bad guy that comes in, he's trying to say, "Hey, bad guy, don't come in." This guy.
He's not trying to bite your wife, is he? That's bad.
Yeah. No. He loves my wife. He loves my wife. He'll be sitting on my lap, and all of a sudden, my wife walks in the room, and he just bugs out and goes running right over to her. He's pretty funny. He's smart. That's what I did too.
Smart dog.
That's what you do.
That's a smart dog right there.
But anyway, okay. So he's barking in the other room now. But as far as what were we talking about?
No, this is great.
We're talking about the walk-ons.
Yeah, the walk-on.
Yeah, there was the walk-ons, and then we have moved that to part of the other problem is, well, the big problem, the big picture problem is that this is all being handled by courts and legislatures and, in other words, government. And it's not that they have ill intent. It's that courts and governments have their own agenda. And it really should have been handled, long time ago, many years ago, by the university presidents, because they're the ones that have the most at stake in college football. And had they gotten on the ball when the money started getting really big all of a sudden and figured out a way to compensate the players, figure out a way to take care of the players, maybe even do some sort of collective bargaining, whatever it would be, then you will be much more likely that have the people with the vested interest in the success of college football and the athletes and the coaches and the student bodies and the institutions, all of that, be the ones to drive the situation. Whereas right now it's out of their hands because it's shifted over to the courts and to governments, and they have their own agenda, which may or may not be the very best thing for the balance of college football. And this is another part. We were talking about the NFL. The NFL is 32 teams that, in different markets, there's different earning potential, but overall it's, the defined revenues are fairly similar in terms of what the salary cap will be based on, and their relative commitment is fairly similar across the 32 teams. In college football, in the FBS, what is it, 130 some teams in the FBS right now, and some of them are top-tier SEC and Big Ten teams that have maximum commitment, huge revenue, and are willing to invest. Others have a lot of money, but don't have the commitment to spend the money and invest the money in sports, and specifically in this case, football. And Vanderbilt has been really accused of that for many years. Now, they've started to do some upgrades now with their stadium and their facilities and things like that. But for many, many years, Vanderbilt was taking all that SEC money and they were dividing it amongst the school, and not a whole lot was left for the program. And it sort of fell by the wayside from the standpoint of the arms race in terms of eye candy and being able to recruit players, because recruiters will say, you want to know how much we're committed to your experience as a student athlete? Just look around our facility, look around our stadium. We're committed to your experience. And then a school like Vanderbilt, you go to an old stadium that's broken down and restrooms are hardly working, and you go to a football facility that's not nearly as great, and and the commitment isn't there sometimes. Sometimes the commitment's there, but the money isn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, Boise State, UNLV, these are Group of Five programs that are Appalachian State, fully committed to succeeding in football, but they don't have the money to do it. So how in the world do you have one program to fit all of those teams and serve their needs and their goals and their level of commitment and their level of resources? And that's one of the reasons I really think we're going to end up with just the two super conferences, Big Ten and Big 12, and then everybody else is going to have to find their way.
To underline your point there, Trevor, talking to Trevor Mattich, Ross Dellinger penned an article earlier today on Yahoo Sports, and I'll just read this portion of it for you just to kind of reinforce what you're talking about. He ends up specifically talking about the athletic department at Michigan. And Michigan's, of course, a big-time school, won the championship 2 years ago. For instance, many cross-country teams keep more than 30 runners on roster. The new roster limit would be 17. Football programs have as many as 140 on their roster. The football roster would be capped at 105. More than 5,000 roster spots are expected to be eliminated in power conference ranks alone.
Yeah, and does that serve the athletes, really? I mean, when COVID hit and revenue dropped, a program like Stanford, who was always in competition for the trophy given to the best overall athletic department in college sports. And Stanford is often winning that or competing for it. They've got all kinds of Olympic sports, and they send a lot of people off to the Olympics as well. And they had to drop a whole bunch of sports. I mean, just drop them completely, as did others. And so why does it help college sports and student athletes for there to be laws put into place that incentivize schools to drop wrestling, because that's just a men's sport, and to drop men's swimming, and to limit roster spots on women's sports, and to why does it help to do that? But this is what happens when you have people tinkering with Title IX and with other laws and with equal representation and with just all kinds of stuff. This is why, ultimately, I think you're going to end up with the two super conferences, because then they could have some form of collective bargaining with players that would allow them to do things that the courts don't allow them to do now. Much like the NFL has a lot of restrictions on things like player movement and things like that, that would be illegal were they not collectively bargained by the players through their union. And so that could mean that college players would become employees. There'd be a lot of resistance to that. But it could also be that college football, college athletes would be members of what amounts to a trade association, not employees, and still be representative in collective bargaining. And so, these are things that you couldn't really do if included in the bargaining is Kent State along with Ohio State, because those are two completely different levels in every single way of athletics, and you can't elevate Kent State without tearing down Ohio State in that kind of a scenario. So this is where it gets really complicated.
There's been a number of
tearing down Ohio State, but
yeah,
I don't mean tearing down, but I mean diminishing and limiting Ohio State, which Ohio State would never agree to.
Yeah, I knew you were.
Yeah, I got a part of solution, because you're never going to make Kent State where they can compete with Ohio State. Never's a long time, I get it, but in the near future. But what I think they need to do is the collective bargaining they have to get Congress, still going to have to get Congress on board, keep from getting sued every time with some kind of exemption like the NFL has. But if Kent State has a player and they have him for 2 years, which I think everybody should have a 2-year deal to start out minimum. Yeah, then you can move once, and then if you graduate, you can move again. That's my idea with the collective bargaining, and they could come to something like that. But after 2 years, if you leave, if Ohio State comes and takes you off Kent State's roster, I believe to help these smaller schools that they should have to pay something and
finder's fee, something
to these guys that have spent 2 years of treasure of developing this kid and paid for his school. And usually freshmen don't hardly ever do freshmen play. So they already have 1 year that you're put in these guys. What do you think about something like that, Trevor, to try to even the playing field somewhat? Because what I worry about is these schools going away, period. If the SEC goes to playing 10 games or nine, that's that's
one less opportunity
for these other schools to come in and make $1 million, $1.3 million. Without that money, they're not going to be around.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's actually a really brilliant outside the box thought to, make it be like, or some sort of, compensation that the bigger school would pay to the smaller school if that happened. But see, then there's unintended consequences, because then it may make it less likely that the bigger school would go get some players from the smaller school, because unless they're the big superstar, if that compensation is can be prohibitive, then guys that would have a chance to go compete at a higher level won't have that chance now because of the compensation required to bring them in. And if they aren't one of the big superstars, and that's the thing that I worry about. See, this is where the balance is just so delicate. I mean, if you mentioned having 2-year contracts, Steve, right? So the scholarship instead of 1 year at a time, and schools are kicking players out more often than players are leaving. You look at the transfer portal, and I think more of those players were actually told by their current school they weren't going to play, they better get in the portal, than actually wanted to get into the portal, right? But if you sign a multi-year deal, and maybe there's NIL attached to it or direct payment attached to it, and the longer the deal, the more per year it is, or something like that, that'll solve some problems with all these transfers. But if it's not collectively bargained, you can't force that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There was a coach of a group of 5 team that pitched a royal fit at the end of the season, because there was a number of his players that he said were being poached by bigger schools to enter the transfer portal. You're not supposed to tamper and stuff like that, but with representation now, word gets out, right? That we would like you, and here's how much we're willing to pay your guy if he does enter the portal, that kind of thing. So that's just, that horse is out of the barn. And my first thought was, well, hey, good for him, man. He's trying to draw a hard red line against tampering. But then I thought, you know what, though? If I'm a player on this Group of 5 team, I want to be tampered with. I want to know if the bigger schools wanted to come pay me a whole bunch of money so that I can then make a choice, right? So don't take away my opportunity to choose. This might be my only chance to make a lot of money in football. Look at Darian Mensah, who's the quarterback at Tulane last year. He signed a deal of, I think it was, what was it, $4 million or $8 million? It's just a ridiculous amount of money to go to Duke, right? A ridiculous
that's right.
amount of money. Yeah. And so it's, I'm not saying he's not worth the money, but I'm saying that if I'm him, I should want to know if there's somebody out there that's willing to pay me that, right?
He's making more money than Manny Diaz is to coach the team at Duke.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, that's fantastic and good for him, right? Good for him. By the way, as an aside on the draft, I just heard, and I don't know if it's true, I haven't checked it myself, but I heard it on the radio, that Clayton Ewers, quarterback for Texas, had an offer that he could have, or probably could have, if not had an offer, to go get about $4 million in NIL money to play somewhere besides Texas next year. That's how much Carson Beck got to go to Miami. And instead he went to the draft. He was the last quarterback drafted, and he'll end up with a 4-year, $4 million contract. You know, would he have been better off transferring so Arch Manning had his spot and then go make $4 million in a single year and get healthy and all that? So, you know, that's, you know, to me, it comes down to what's best for the players. And to limit their movement without giving them a say in the matter, at least through collective bargaining, is just wrong.
Totally agree. Look, we had Jerry Glanville on before you in the last hour, and he said that it ought to be, and he mentioned Quinn Ewers,
specifically,
and said that he should have been able to.
There is a certain time, maybe like fifth round. He even mentioned Shadur of having a better opportunity in college
to take himself back out of the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you should be able to take yourself out of the draft. I think if because then you see that there's also, there's more unintended consequences. Because if, the quarterback that transferred from Tulane to Duke, he left a bunch of players there. He was developed by the Duke coaches to be able to play once it came his time. And they would have spent time developing somebody else, and those players would have had potentially a better quarterback unless they can replace him. And so those guys are kind of left in the lurch. While it's really good for the quarterback who transferred because he went to a bigger school and got paid a fortune, right? And so it's not just that, guys should be able to transfer because it's good for them. Well, they're leaving a situation where there was an investment in them in the former team, and now those guys are gone. What if a team loses 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen in the spring transfer portal and they don't have enough depth to pick it up? Who's quarterback for that team, and who wants to be quarterback for that team, who all of a sudden now has to have 4 replacement offensive linemen to protect them, right? And so, it's just kind of nuts in terms of the unintended consequences. But, I just, there's so much out there that I just don't see any way that a judge or even Congress can make it right. I think what they need to do is put together a framework, and then it needs to be collectively bargained, because otherwise it's, the best situation is where everybody's sort of satisfied and everybody's a little dissatisfied. Yeah. But if it's just done by courts or just done by legislatures, you're going to end up with somebody feeling like they got totally screwed and somebody else feeling like they made out like bandits. And I don't like that.
Yeah. So who we had on from UCLA quarterback?
Rick
Neuheisel. He suggested that they'd go ahead, do the collective bargaining, come to agreement, then take it to Congress. and get the exemption you need to keep from being sued, and that's the way to do it. And you kind of look. That's kind of what you just said.
Yeah,
I think that's the only way you can do it.
Well, I think that's really smart. Rick Neuheisel is one of the smartest people in this business, the business of college football, as a coach, as a broadcaster, anything. And anytime he has something to say, I'm considering what he has to say. He's also, I think, the best teacher of college football when he's on the air. He's just fantastic, and I think that's smart. That's also, it fits into the way Congress works. I mean, Congress doesn't just pop out a bill. Congress will have input from all kinds of interests. If they're doing a bill that affects, the auto industry, for example, the auto industry will have a big say in what that bill says. And they need to, because they know a lot more about their industry than Congress does. And so, these are reasons why that idea is actually really good. If they came to Congress with something that they said, hey, we've already got agreement from XYZ conferences, we've already got agreement from 60% of representatives of players that are out there right now, and this seems to be the framework we need to go with, if not the text of the bill exactly. I think Congress would really appreciate that, because it takes a lot of pressure off of it.
Trevor, the other major, I guess, major story of the spring surrounding the sport itself is the non-spring game of so many teams electing not to do a scrimmage televised. And I get it. I understand it. But in the back of my mind, at least, I'm thinking, boy, we've taken away so many practices, and this is just another instance of, it feels like we're taking something else away from preparing the kids the right way, honestly, to play the right way once the lights are turned on. What do you think about the non-spring game, spring game?
I think it's necessary. It's become a necessary evil. I mean, you think of places like Nebraska, Alabama, places that would, put 60, 70, 80,000 people in the stadium some years for the spring game. It's just exciting. It's just good for everyone. It's exciting for the players. The problem you run into, and this is what you guys are talking about, is that you're a coach of a team, especially a smaller team, but really any team, and you have, well, let's say it's not Ohio State, it's not Alabama or Georgia, it's a team like Mississippi State or Troy or somebody like that, and so they have, even Nebraska at this point in their arc.
Yeah.
Because Nebraska has done that. Matt Rule has done that. And so you're thinking, okay, so I've got, XYZ starters that have aged out. Some gone to the NFL, some graduated. And so now I've got some young guys that I've been developing for a year or two or three that now I've developed to the point that they're ready to start and they're ready to be really good, and nobody knows about them. You put them out there for a spring game, and of bigger schools watching that spring game going, hey, who's 83? We could use that guy, right? And all of a sudden you're showcasing your players for other teams that would take them in the portal. So the idea there is, I'm not going to show you. And then if they want to transfer during the season, they can, but I'm not going to make it easy for them to transfer. And so coaches, it's gotten really hard to be a coach in this business.
Yeah, it really has. There was also something that I heard from Sam Pittman, the Arkansas head coach, in terms of portal. I know they're trying to dwindle it down to one portal period. He mentioned January 2nd to January 12th. And I know that's right in the sweet spot of the college football playoffs, but the portal opens up in basketball, the second weekend of the tournament there. And I kind of liked it, honestly, because it's just a little window, and this is when in particular football coaches want those big transfers to come in before spring practice.
Well, I would. And if I'm a coach, I wouldn't want to go through spring practice with one of my guys, give him reps, give him attention, and then have him leave. Why would I want that? Because I could have used that spring to develop a kid that is going to be on the team in the summer and then into the fall. So why would I want to do that? I mean, who is the guy? Nico Iamaleava, for goodness sake.
That's right.
So, quarterback, right? He was making whatever, $2 million a year. He signed like a $1 million deal or something. I don't know how much it was. That's what was reported. If he stayed the whole time. And then I read something that said if he stayed the whole time, he'd make $10 million total if he stayed 4 years. So I don't know, but it was a lot of money and made big news. So he goes until the day before, well, until the last spring practice, the spring game and all that. And then he doesn't go to that last one, and then he leaves. Yeah. Well, every rep that he took could have been taken by one of those young guys. Tennessee has a couple of young guys that are very talented, that could have had reps that Nico had, but he took the reps during spring and then he left, right? And so these are just complications. The problem with having the transfer portal, in the first week or two of January, is that teams that are in the playoffs, how are they going to add players? How are they going to, what if they lose players? I mean, Penn State lost their backup quarterback for goodness sake.
That's right.
In the playoff, but they lost their backup quarterback because he needed to enroll in his new school and get started, and that would have all been jeopardized had he stayed. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to abandon Penn State during the playoff, but he had to, or he might not have been where he wanted to be.
Crazy world we live in.
Yeah, and now that we've got a few months, at least in reflection, it did at least look to me like the committee right out of the gate in this first go around. To me, Trevor, wins were the most important thing, not necessarily strength of schedule, but wins were the most important element. And listen, I know all teams want to win all their games. I would like to believe, although I haven't heard anything from the College Football Playoff Committee, that of owning up to ultimately how they came away with Indiana, with SMU, with how they. I wish there was a little bit more transparency on that moving forward, because the SEC has come out and has talked about, at least put it out there, of maybe needing to give this another cycle because of what the committee really showed us all, and that is wins are the ultimate end-all be-all, not strength of schedule.
Yeah, and excuse me, I am more aligned with the point of view of Nick Saban on this, because Coach Saban has always said that it's not just wins and losses, but it's who you play. And I think that matters, because if it appears that the committee is incentivizing the wins. I mean, look at Indiana, look at Miami. Miami up until they lost to Syracuse was a team that, these are teams that just did not have the strength of schedule. Then you look at some other teams that struggled a bit. I mean, Ole Miss that had really good quality wins.
Yeah.
But they lost to a couple of really good quality teams. But those are losses to teams that some of the other teams that made the playoff, like Boise State, like Indiana, weren't exposed to it. They weren't even at risk of losing to multiple teams like that. Now, Indiana lost to Ohio State. I get that. But in terms of having multiple games where you win 2 games against top 10 teams, but you lose 2 games against top 5 teams, right? Well, how many teams are going to play 2 top 5 teams that are going to be eligible for the playoff? And so the committee, I think that it needs to be closer to what Nick Saban did. Otherwise, what you're going to find is that the non-conference games are going to end up being just dribble.
Yeah. I'm really genuinely excited to see LSU and Clemson right out of the gate, Trevor. And what the committee, to your point, is saying, we don't need that game. We don't need that game.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to punish you.
You get what you incentivize,
Yeah. It is, there's still so much to chat about with you, but I always appreciate the time that you give us, Trevor, more than anything. And we'll be down at the spring meetings, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversations on exactly what college football 2025 is going to look like. I've had the hardest time, putting a pulse on who I like, who I don't like this spring. I can't imagine from your point of view on how you're going to dive in and preview these conferences coming up this fall, Trevor.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It always is tough early on, but that's part of the fun of the early stuff. You get the preseason bowls that people hate. I think they're great because it provides a basis for us to start fighting over college football in a fun way, And so I think it's really good. But so far though, NIL hasn't ruined it for me. I think a lot of people are saying, well, gee, if these guys are professional athletes now, I'm going to look at them differently. Well, I don't know. I mean, Ohio State had a transfer quarterback. I don't think any Buckeyes fans were upset about that. Notre Dame had a transfer quarterback and went to the semifinals. I don't think anybody is really terribly upset over that. So I think that the passion that people have for college football is great. We need to maintain the rivalries, and we need to make sure that the fans are served with the passion that has made college football great for a century. We don't want this sport to become NFL light.
That is well said right there.
Yeah. So, but having said that, I hope the people that are making all these decisions can do right by the new paradigm with the players and the schools, but especially that they do right by the fans, because we don't want to become the UFL. The UFL is a whole lot of fun to watch, but there's no passion there. The passion's in college football.
Yeah. Always appreciate the time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
That is Trevor Matich. Always great conversations with Trevor Matich. So this is another time of year where we miss a former regular guest here on the program. I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about, as odds have just been posted on the front end of the Triple Crown. We'll tell you exactly what's going on for the Run for the Roses as we wind things down here at Woody Anderson Ford.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beaves likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Never miss 1 second of Charger baseball with the Charger Zone.
Wendell, Knowles, scooped by Lindsay, 6, 4, 3, double play, and UAH is 1 out away.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, inside the showroom here, got a Sport 4x4 right next to us that has a bike rack.
Yep.
That could tote your bike.
Sure could.
I mean, come on now. They've got something for everybody here at Woody Anderson Ford. Had Bobby White on earlier, as well as Jerry Glanville, and just got through talking with Trevor Maddich. And I do always get a little melancholy this time of year. One of our frequent guests in the past, of course, has since passed away. And
so much fun.
Hammerin' Hank Goldberg. This is his season. And the 151st running of the Roses takes place this Saturday up in Lexington. Post time is already put up for 5:57 Central Time. And the horse that is your odds-on favorite, Journalism. So Journalism is your favorite. I think it's the first time that sentence is Journalism is a favorite.
Anyway, for the last 10 years, that's correct.
Journalism is your odds-on favorite at 3-1. Sovereignty is at 5-1. Sandman is at 6-1. What are some really
what are the odds on fake news?
Chunk of Gold is at 30-1. Let's see here. Publisher, not that. I guess this would be next to Journalism, but Publisher is at 20-1. And what are some other unique horse names that you'll need to be? Citizen Bull is at 20-1. Final Gambit is at 30-1. Admire Daytona is also at 30-1. American Promise is at 30-1. Boy, that's a good name. How about Flying Mohawk? Flying Mohawk is at 30-1. I'm not even going to try that name.
Flying Mohawk. I didn't know Joe Hunk had a horse.
Yeah, for real. I thought him and his wife welcomed in a brand new baby girl. So congratulations there to the Hunkapiller family as they welcome in the third edition.
They're getting popular up there.
Yeah, well, no, in the Abraham population, that's just an hors d'oeuvre right there. 3 kids compared to how many kids does Tom have? I think 9 kids.
My wife makes me wash my hands and take a shower before I touch her when I get home. Right between the neighbors and the Abrahams. Yes, I speak for a living. And now the Hunkapillers. Yeah, I have to shower in the yard before I can touch my wife. I don't drink the water here.
I'm telling you. But your odds-on favorite, Journalism. I am going to try to reach out to our Kentucky Derby, the guy who calls the game or calls the race. We had him on last year, try to get him back on later on in the week, as it is Kentucky Derby week. So just wanted to pass along some of those posts because the odds as well as the post positions have just been updated today. Journalism is in the 8-hole for whatever that's worth. That's right next to Burnham Square, running in the 9. And the 7 is Luxor Cafe. That is sandwiched in between journalism. Who is your odds-on favorite to win the 151st running of the Roses? We will take our final timeout. Final call for phone calls as we wrap things up on the other side here live from Woody Anderson Ford.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. Relatively warm as we head into the overnight and to the early part of your Wednesday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the low and mid-60s. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, but to be quite honest, that activity is going to be somewhat difficult to come by. Most of us are going to stay dry. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s, a couple of degrees above where we should be this time of year as we get ready to close out the month of April. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. I'm home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final call for phone calls here, live from Woody Anderson Ford, 256-576-4977. The telephone number, walking up to Braves baseball as we will join the pregame show already in progress at the top of the hour. Braves winners last night up in Denver, taking on the Colorado Rockies as A.J. Smith-Shawver on the mound tonight for the Atlanta Braves. Well,
Hey,
obviously,
I've got an update since we were talking about horse racing a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Listener Tony called in and he said that keep your eyes on Render Judgment. It's a horse owned by the stable. It was at one time owned by Toby Keith. Render Judgment done all right. Career statistics, won a little over $250,000. Has a little trouble getting into win, place, or show. Has a couple of firsts in there in career. Showed up second this year, and so keep your eyes on it.
Fair enough.
What was the name of the horse again?
Render Judgment.
Render Judgment.
Stable out of Kentucky. Green Lantern Stables is the breeder.
Render Judgment. Let me see where he is. 15th in the post positions.
You know, Tony
He's
said
at number.
that. I just remembered that. Yeah.
Good
job,
30
Tony.
to 1. 30 to 1 odds on Render
So you're
Judgment.
saying there's a chance.
Yes, I am. A lot has obviously been made this week about one Shadur Sanders. Dusty Dvorak believes that Shadur has a legitimate shot at starting.
I still think the dude could play. And I think he's going to go into that Cleveland Browns room. I think at some point he's going to win this job. I don't know if it's going to be immediately. I don't know if it's going to be right now. I look at that quarterback room. I think Shadur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback at some point. And you know what? He's going to have a chip on his shoulder now. This might wind up being the best thing to happen to him. It's hard to recognize and see that right now. But if this makes him refocus, maybe relook at some different things, and I think as much as anything motivate him, as we've seen a lot of players previously who have these massive falls, it could wind up being the best thing for him. Because
that's a little bit of what we heard from Jerry Glanville when you were kind of pressing Coach Glanville on what he sees out of Shadur. He liked him better than Cam Ward.
Yes. Coach Glanville has been very good with quarterbacks. Buffalo's quarterback, he said he would be a great player before the draft.
It sure did.
Coach says whoever can throw the slant in the NFL consistently, because everybody's in man-to-man, makes a huge deal. Huge deal. If you can throw the slant in the NFL, you can win in the NFL.
So Mike Florio and Chris Sims had this to say on Shadur disrespecting the process of the draft.
It's the Tebow effect. Right. It's the exact same thing that got teams to the point where we don't want this guy on our depth chart. Is he good enough to be a third string quarterback? And that's debatable. Right. But even if he is, we don't want that. We don't want the reporters rushing past our starter to get to Tebow. The dynamic I saw the Super Bowl week of the year that Tebow Mania was a thing, people rushing by Joe effing Montana to get to Tebow. Yeah. We don't want that. Right. We don't need that. Right. We're trying to win football games here. And look, especially before the draft, I'm not going to traffic in anonymous opinion. Anonymous fact is a different thing. We talked last week about the whole NFL media deciding to just basically act like a social media site and say, hey, you want to put something up anonymously, no matter how vile or poisonous it is? Remember the quote? Here it is. He's so entitled. Worst formal interview of my life. He takes unnecessary sacks, never plays on time, horrible body language, blames teammates. Biggest thing is he's not that good. You can't I believe, and I don't care, they can try to explain it till they're blue in the face. We should not do that. We should not allow that. We should not traffic in that, especially before the draft. Now, after the draft, once the dust settles, if there's specific things that came up that may have contributed to help explain why it happened, and that's the danger here. Before the draft, a lot of the stuff that makes its way to the media, and I'll hear people say all the time, well, you're not going to change the mind of any general manager. You're not going to change the mind of any coach. No, but you know who you're going to affect? You're going to affect the owner. And that one dynamic gets so overlooked in there.
Yeah.
You're going to freak out owners, and they're going to start asking questions, and it's going to scare guys away. So my point is this.
Yeah, I hear you.
Peter King called, and I trust Peter King completely. He's still plugged in. He called right before the show. Hey, listen, this guy blew his whiteboard interviews. And I've heard from multiple teams.
No, that's a fact, man. That's a fact.
He didn't care.
Right.
He didn't take it seriously.
He totally disrespected the process. If there's one thing he has fault in, it's that. And that's the first litmus test of the NFL. You know that. Wait, is he going to work? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be prepared? Here's something he can affect that just like it's on him, right? It's not like did our right tackle block somebody? Did somebody miss a read or not read the coverage right? These are the things you can control. And yes, that's not where he disrespected the process. And that's where a lot of the NFL was very turned off by Shedeur Sanders. And
Well,
at least echoing in my mind.
I'm going to tell you, it's a combination of all this. First of all, I don't think he was a first-round quarterback, personally. And I've heard other GMs say this. He wasn't graded as a first-round. He did horrible in his interviews. Everybody knows that. I agree with Coach Glanville. Interviews aren't a thing, but with quarterbacks, it should be. And
because of the leadership standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership, part of that. There are a lot of teams that weren't going to draft a quarterback, period. They only took 3 in the first round, right? That's the low number. It was a low quarterback year. They've had a big year last year. I've talked to actually a couple of GMs. They didn't have him as a first-round quarterback. And then his dad came out and said, we're not going to go to certain teams. Well, that limits who can draft you in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I hope Shedeur does well.
Well,
but
I'd like to end on a positive note here. Jihad Campbell, we mentioned about him making that first round, getting in the first round. Well, he is excited. He is excited to be a Philadelphia Eagle.
It happened. Come on, Jihad Campbell.
You know it did.
It
man.
happened, brother. It happened. It was a long wait, but you got there. Yes, sir.
It was. Hey, and I feel bad for all the teams that ain't picked me.
Oh, man. I know you was in the room.
This conference, especially in this conference. I feel bad. I'm coming for them bad.
When the Philadelphia Eagles make the trade, Jihad Campbell, and they trade with, they trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. They go up just one pick.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, their phone rang.
Crazy though?
You knew about it?
They was actually supposed to get me in like the 20s. But we ain't gonna talk about that. You feel what I'm saying? So I pay homage to Howie, and Nick Sirianni, and the owner too, and the whole staff, man, for just trusting in me and believing me.
So you said there was discussion before the draft or during the draft?
No, during the draft. During the draft.
So you knew, so they chose you, hey, we're trying to flip it, get you.
I never took a visit. I only had like one meeting with him, and that was it.
That is from Sirius XM satellite radio.
There has to be a willing participant to trade for him, right?
That's right.
It's not like
takes 2 to tango.
Exactly, it takes 2 to tango. You just can't go and just take the pick away from them. But I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles take it all. How many Alabama and Georgia people are on their team?
Quite a few.
Like 10,
11? I think it's over. I think it's around 13.
Man, they're a culture team, and watch them play. They do everything right. The offensive linemen are coached very, very well. And I don't understand why people don't copy it. They want to copy all this other stuff that doesn't work. Blows my mind.
You wonder why some teams are up here and other teams are down here. I mean, tape don't lie.
No, it's just the tush push. If you're not doing it, what in the world? Don't be against it. Do it because it works. I don't get it.
Braves baseball comes up next. A big thank you to Woody Anderson Ford for hosting us. Talk to you tomorrow.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Baseball history coming up on the other side. You're locked in the Ford Leadoff Show, presented by your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of your Atlanta Braves.